Welcome, everybody. It's already our 10th session of the Red Storm Rising campaign adventure titled The Foulest of Spirits, that is designed by Gooey Cube and it's presented by the Greater Mulemaster Beholder Corps, where we hope your minds will be opened by wonder tonight. Tonight is still the creepiest of days on the Zyanthic calendar. It is still Dark Tide's night. And so playing today, we have Zane and Mark and Lee in the Mighty Trey.
Hey!
And our tech master behind the scenes, Chris.
Hey.
And I am Casey, better known as the emissary of the Great Mother. And with that, my aberrations, I ask you, shall we begin?
Aye.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys have it. Well, will this dark night ever end?
Probably
It's hard.
not.
It's hard to tell, but we must be close, hearing the toll of the 11th bell. So, and just as I say that, as you guys are heading from the tree that you found earlier in the evening with the smooching teenagers behind it, and you see the red star glowing down upon you, and you see the world come back to life, and Jonas leaning up against you as you would have expected him to be. You begin to head down the King's Highway back towards the Mangy Hound, and you hear off in the distance toward the town of Nevermore the 11th bell. So you know, if anything, Dark Tide will be coming to a close very shortly. And much to your relief, it is a pleasant noise to hear. So, my friends, who would like to give us just a very short summary of what happened in our last session?
We may have to do a group effort again.
I'm happy to do so, but if we can do a group effort, it's worth a GUI reward,
It's
guys.
worth a GUI
Who wants to do
reward
it?
bonus, huh?
Who wants to do this?
Fine. We'll do it again. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, if you guys want to do a group effort, we'll start on my screen from top to bottom. We'll start with Mark.
So, as our brave adventurers were walking down the forest path, strange noises, go figure, our party always runs into strange noises, found that there was a ghostly form of a lady with bright red, greenish, glowing eyes who were beckoning us to follow her. And like any good adventuring party, we did.
Well, yeah, you had to decide whether you're going to do it or not, but yeah, why not? It's creepy. It's good, stereotypical fashion, right? Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
So
fair
as we
enough.
went down the hill, go ahead, Thurls.
Very well. And the aberration led us to the tottering treehouse, of which it swayed and tottered very well. And in front, guarding the door that says "Only Flesh," was a teeny itty bitty little bear that we just really adored, and I chopped its head off. But inside, we found some wonderful little gems, and we busted in the front door, and Quimber.
Well,
Kemper, you're up.
before the ghostly figure, we did find out a little bit about Jonas. That's his name, correct?
That is.
Yeah.
So we found out that he and his men had gone up to the hillbilly ranch pig farm thing, and while they were up there, while they're headed up there, they got ambushed, and the woman with all the stuff in her hair and the metal golem and the boys easily surrounded them, and it turned out that one of the guards had set them up, and then Jonas's only friend was killed, and he found himself hanging, and it was a very nightmarish moment as the GM explained to us what happened. Very, very moving moment of the night. I just can't even explain it how good it was. And then like they had said, we've reached this tree and gone inside, and inside there was vials on the table full of a red, thick liquid. It turned out to be blood. And before we could do anything with this liquid, ghastly, ghostly creatures came out of the walls and started throwing like all kinds of magic, fire, electricity, cold, all kinds of things at us. And the gems that were inside the bear came out and were flying around the room and seemed to be protecting just us randomly. I guess they were definitely had a biased attitude and didn't really care to protect Quimber at all.
Or Canna.
Blood, it's always blood. Why does it have to be blood? Oh, well, that's just typical. So, Kenna, what happened when you went upstairs?
So after leaving the room that had only blood scrawled on the wall, we went upstairs to a room that had a key hanging from the center of it in a large chest, and in blood on the wall it said, "Only bone." Well, we determined that the key was illusionary and that it was casting 3 shadows. So on a whim, 3 of us reached out to the shadows on the different walls that it was casting upon and pulled out 3 different keys. Thinking hard about it, we thought, well, only bone, so we put the bone key into the lock and unlocked it, and inside we found the remains of a gnome who had clawed-like hands and a necromantic sword of some sort. But fortunately it didn't animate, but we locked the door back up and then tried the other 2 keys, in which case Theros got completely soaked head to toe in blood as the chest sprayed blood out all over him. And apparently I brought the undead creature, while still locked in the chest, thank goodness, to animated status.
No, and then when Fliegen decided he wanted to leave the room room with the items that you pulled out of the chest,
Yes.
Gror apparently or allegedly scraped his back, scraped Fliegen's back. Oh wait, no, that wasn't him. Who was that, Gror? That wasn't you, right?
That wasn't me. That was
okay. Fliegen was convinced that it was you. I mean, you've done other things to him in the past. What happened after that, Gror?
Could have happened.
Maybe. What happened after that, Gror?
Returned the sword to the room and followed a narrow beam, the 3rd room where we saw the book the ghost was holding, and were asked if we wanted to put our names in it. And we apparently made maybe not the brightest of choices and avoided that despite being offered to inscribe our names, and maybe missed out on quite a reward.
Or immortality as undead.
Sounds pretty special.
Who knows? Yeah. It's the GM's discretion. Maybe something bad would have happened. We will see.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. I've heard it both ways, but
yes.
Then we kind of hurriedly ran from the place, and then of course burned it down, as is our trademark before we leave any location.
The arsonists.
And back on the road, on the endless night, is our goal still, and to the King's Highway.
Yeah, so many creepy things have happened at this night, which is not untypical for Darktide, and not much time is left in Darktide, so. You guys, as you head down the road towards the east, I'm going to go ahead and kind of move you guys down the road here a little bit. I want you all to give me a D20 roll, please. Straight up D20 roll. Let's see if we got any gooey rewards, and thank you all for participating in that wonderful recap.
Not on my end.
I'm not getting one.
What are we looking at here? We got a 2, we got a 9, we got a 14, we got a 2, and we got an 8. Well, that offsets from what happened last week, so
And like, what, 3 of us got them?
Yeah.
I think there was a 20 and a 19 and a 19 and something like that, yeah. So, you win some, you lose some, and in this case, it didn't quite happen. So, no gooey rewards for you tonight, but maybe next time. There's always opportunity there, so we will see. So, thank you guys for playing. All right, so as you guys are heading on the King's Road and you're eager to get back, you want to give me a perception check, please, all of you. Get that fumble out of the way there, Mark.
A fumble,
Ooh.
and you still got a 5.
Wow. That's quite the roll there, Kimber. So, as you're heading down the road, and so many things have happened to you, and you're being very wary of what might be along the road, and you're surprised because you hear nothing. But Kimber and Theros and Kenna, you all 3 see the unmistakable form of something living. Just a dark form. It's almost a shadow of a form. Sitting high up in the tree above the trail, right where I pinged the map. It's not moving and it's not making a sound. But you get the unmistakable feeling that it's staring at you. You see no eyes. You see nothing but a shadow.
Alright, looks like I'm near Gore and Theros, so I'm going to say we're being watched, and I'll sort of like look in the direction for a second and look away like I'm looking around to sort of give them a direction to look in if they hear me.
Okay. I would say that you guys definitely hear him let you know that. What do you do?
Is it still there after he alerts everyone else? Obviously, it's close enough to hear us.
Yeah, it does not move. It doesn't, you almost wonder if it exists or not, but you feel like you do see it there. It's like a shadow more than a corporeal being that you could tell that's just sitting in the tree.
How far up is it?
Maybe about 15 feet.
Maybe it's that lady. Maybe we should ask her if we did what she wanted us to do.
I'll yell to it. Who goes there?
Since he yells to it, I will go ahead and pull an arrow and knock it and be prepared.
At your question, Theros, you actually see the shadow, what feels like it would be the head of it, that makes you feel like it's some sort of being or figure. You feel as if the head turns, and then shortly thereafter the body of it turns and it jumps, and you know that it is real because the branch that it was on moves as it jumps away silently, but the branch makes no sound, and wherever it may have gone makes no sound, but it disappears back into the trees, into the forest off the road.
We need to get back to the troop.
Yeah, let's get back to the inn, drop off Jonas, and then get back to the troop.
Okay.
Let's get a good order here, guys. Let's expect to be attacked.
Okay. Go ahead and put yourselves in order. include where you would like Billy, or who you want Billy to be with, and who you want Killer to be with, because...
I'll take Killer with me, but I can't move his token.
Okay, just put yourself where you're going to be, and I'll
All
put
right,
it
so
next to you.
Kenna and Grow, are you guys going to be up front? Then I'll take the rear.
That sounds good.
Okay. Jonas is with Kimber, so wherever Kimber ends up going, I'll put Jonas with him.
And I'll whisper to Fleegan to keep an eye on Jonas.
Well, that's perfect.
As he mysteriously disappears.
Okay, so this is your marching order. And as you move forward to about this location here,
By the way, I'll do my best to try to walk forward and walk backwards. Keep my eye on the rear.
okay, so you're not staying still. You're just kind of a sentry on the back, just kind of keeping an eye on what's
Right.
going on around you. Yeah.
Kind of one of those things where if you take a step forward and spin, take another step forward and spin the other way.
Yep. Sounds good.
So making yourself dizzy. Got it.
Well, that's why I'm doing it every other way.
You, as you're doing that, actually, Theros, you begin to see strange shadows cast in the trees and the brush to the north. Strange because the shadows are kind of moving around a little bit, and they're different than what you're used to seeing. And you quickly realize why they're different, because all of a sudden multicolored lights bob and dance through the branches and seem to be slowly coming closer toward you all.
Look lively. We've got something coming. Quimber, can you throw a light stone into the woods towards those lights?
Oh, yes, give me a second here. I'll reach down and find something big enough to throw.
Okay. Give me a ranged attack roll then.
And these look different than the lights that were on the way up to the tower.
They do look different. They're multicolored
Okay.
lights. I'm going to bring him to the token layer here. Kimber, give me a ranged attack roll, please.
Trying to see how to roll that off the character sheet.
It's a d20 plus your dex, so if you do a dex roll, just click on dexterity and you should.
Cool, thank you.
All right. Okay. After about a minute of you kind of seeing these lights flittering around, so the rock goes in, and it kind of flies through the air, and then it gets nearby one of them, but kind of passes it as it's going by, and it hits the ground and kind of lights up, but it doesn't really seem to diminish the colored lights. The shadows that they're casting kind of change a little bit from the shadow light cast, or the shadows that the light's casting in the forest from the stone. They camber through, and after just a moment, several of those floating balls of pure light drift over across your path. So they fly out just kind of in the midst of all of you here. And you notice that in the center of each sits a solid shape, though it's difficult to make out what the objects are without approaching any closer to these balls of light as they just kind of pass by. They don't seem to be they're just kind of floating through the air, and they're just kind of floating on by you, and they're various shapes and sizes, but for the most part there's nothing any bigger than about the size of a large kicking ball, but nothing any smaller than about the size of a normal sized throwing ball. What do you guys do?
Glor'll say, "Who are you? We are friends. We're here to help. Please let us pass if you do not have something important to tell us."
They don't seem to even indicate that they have heard you or even respond or change in any way. They're just kind of floating around the area, and but they're not. I mean, they kind of float across the path and float by you, but they kind of surround you in a sense and kind of float on through and by. So they don't seem to be continuing on their merry way, but they're not really leaving either, but they're not acknowledging your statement. Oh, I should show you a picture of them. Why did I not show you?
Please.
There you go.
Kenneth stands stock still.
Okay.
I assume we still have the lantern lit.
Yeah, the Dark Tide lantern, we did light that, yeah.
Would anything from like history, like over the campfires, stories, might be able to tell us what these are or what they could be?
Okay. I would like you to make me an Arcana check. I mean, the reason I'm asking you to do Arcana, I mean, you're asking more of a history question, but you feel as if there's something magical about these, and so your historical knowledge of Arcana might come into play here.
May I make an Arcana test? It's kind of my shtick.
Who would like to make the Arcana check with advantage then?
I would like to. I've got a +4.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay.
So you two talk amongst yourselves, and Fleegan actually thinks about it and says, you know, something is very interesting about these. Maybe we've heard of them before, and he knows that Kenna is probably the most magical of you all, and says, hey, Kenna, do you remember anything about these in any of your studies? And you respond, I do remember that there was a time where I was speaking to Skizig about, he's the troop's magician, about a experiment that he was working on to create something called a porter. And these seem very similar to what he was talking about.
Did he say what the porter was for? Why he was trying to create one?
Give me a insight check, please.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not my shtick, but I did better.
Yeah. It was very interesting to you when you had that discussion with him because of the concept of what he was talking about. It was something that is, because wizards often find themselves spending more time reading and experimenting on things and learning from that than they have to actually go out and gather the materials that they need sometimes to cast their spells. That he was looking for a incantation that would create something called a porter that would go out and gather things for him. And so therefore, this porter is created to it just that. It's a gatherer. It goes out, it retrieves things and brings it back.
Okay.
But it's interesting because what you had read about, or you had talked with him about, was, something that, it's usually some sort of a spectral ball in some form or not. It's not typically a fancy color or anything. Most of the time, it's nothing more than a shadow. But these are interesting, different shapes of multicolored light. But they sure definitely seem like some sort of porter to you, almost a luminous sort of porter in a sense.
I pass this information on to everyone, and then suggest that we slowly move away from them without coming into contact with any of them.
I don't suppose there's any magical components that are made up of gnomes, are there?
Not that I'm aware of, except maybe create undead, but you'd have to be dead for that.
Well, and that's the way I like it.
So yeah, I suggest that we slowly move away from them and see what their reaction to that is.
Is that what you guys are going to do?
Yes.
Yeah. Push up ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody go ahead and make me a
Uh-oh.
acrobatics check, because you're actively trying to avoid them. So not necessarily a saving throw, because they're not really attacking you.
I rolled the wrong one, sorry.
All right. Each one of you managed to just kind of keep your heads down and bobbing as you move on by.
Looks like we're going to have to save Billy again. Are you going to roll for killer?
I'm working on it right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just having trouble. I'm having trouble typing. All right. Keller's just not really paying attention to what he's doing, but he follows your lead, and there doesn't seem to be any balls of light very close to him. But as you guys move on forward here, Billy must be a little skittish around these things. They seem a little odd to him, and he kind of bonks into the green one right here. And when he does, a plate of fresh treacle tarts fall out of this and hit the ground. The plate shatters, and all these little sweet tarts hit the ground, and Billy gets kind of excited and goes over there and starts eating them. And the green blob at that point floats around and makes a almost direct beeline to Fleegan, and floats up and down inside of Fleegan. Or not inside of Fleegan, but right in front of Fleegan's face. It just kind of floats up and down right in front of your face. What do you do?
Apple tarts. I'll poke it with my finger.
Poke it with your finger. Okay. It has kind of a weird tingling sensation as you poke it with your finger.
And now your finger is gone.
And as you feel the tingling sensation and you poke it with your finger, it pops out of it disappears.
Am I covered in blood?
You are not covered in blood.
All right.
Good thing.
Score one for us. That was weird.
How does
now I'm
Billy-
curious.
So this appears to be carrying food. These are things carrying food. I'll
I
touch
say we-
the one that's over killer, or I'll bonk it or whatever. Just like, not with my head, but just like
Okay.
Billy did.
Yes,
So the
bonk it
blue
with your
one-
head, please.
Yeah, the blue one floats on closer over to you, and you just poke it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Roll a percentage die for me, please. Okay. You poke it.
Ominous.
and it immediately, a vial of red liquid falls out of the bottom of it towards the ground. Make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh.
Okay. You see the vial fall out of the bottom of it, and you reach out to try and catch it, but it falls too quickly for you and hits the ground and shatters. And then the blue orb kind of makes a beeline towards you and floats over in front of you and kind of floats up and down in front of your face.
I'll tell it to go get me a steak.
It doesn't do anything. It continues to float up and down in front of your face, and shortly thereafter, that green one, that or at least it looks like the green one that was in front of Fleegan, floats back over, or seems to kind of come out of the woods again and float over to Fleegan and begin to float up and down in front of his face again.
Get me a potion of healing.
It doesn't seem to respond, but after a few moments and you ask it of that, it actually flies over and...
Can I start arguing with it?
Make me a athletics check, please. Okay. It attempts to engulf one of the daggers on your belt, and you see this happening, and you're able to grab the dagger and keep it from taking the dagger from you.
Bad, glowing green ball. Bad. Don't do that. I'll wiggle my finger at it.
Okay. You just wiggle your finger at it.
Yes.
It kind of spins around your head a little bit and then bobs up and down in front of your face a little bit more adamant. Theros, what do you do with the blue one bobbing up and down in front of your face as he leaves? You guys, anybody else doing anything?
If these things were sent to retrieve something, what is it they want to retrieve from us?
They
Theros,
seem to be
this blue
bringing
one.
us.
This
Yep.
blue one is bobbing up and down in front of your face. What do you do?
I'll grab it.
So you go to grab the ball of light?
Yep.
Okay. It blinks out of existence.
Okay.
Ken is going to move over to this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
And putting my hand under it, I'm going to smack it to see if something drops out so I can catch whatever comes out from underneath it.
Roll me a percentage die, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. A 6.
A
Could
vial
be incredibly good.
A vial of brown liquid falls out of it. Give me a acrobatics check, please.
Crit.
Yeah,
So-
that bottle
so you
of
play
brown
hacky sack
liquid
with
falls, plop right into your hand.
Poop.
And
Okay.
Well, let's get the rest of these. These appear to be good omens.
Roar doesn't like
Bearing
these.
gifts.
Roar's gonna move
Maybe.
up ahead and drag Billy up out away from them up here.
And you've spent some time with the alchemist in your group, Kenna,
Mhm.
and so you immediately know what this vial is because you've seen this particular potion before.
Oh, hello. Oh, we have a strength potion, and now we have a hill giant strength potion.
Make me
A
a
super strength potion.
athletics check, please.
Sure.
Okay. The ball of light, after you're inspecting the vial that dropped in your hand, seems to float around your back, and takes one of your component pouches away from you and then floats off.
Oh, hell no. I will pursue and whack it.
Okay. So you pursue and you whack it, and it blinks out of existence, and the component pouch drops to the ground, or I guess you can catch it at that point if you want to.
Yeah. I think we could poke all of these things and get stuff from them, but but then they try to steal something from you when you do that.
Well, if they go back to the troop, do we have anything that we would want them to steal? Maybe a
There's
message or a token or...
They're not from our troop, I don't believe.
I'd say we smack him and get out of Dodge.
Yeah, let's do it quickly.
Play whack-a-mole for prizes and then get out of Dodge and then run.
Let's have 2 of us per each one of them, so we have 2 chances to catch whatever falls out of it.
Grimber, do you want to smack and me catch, or do you want me to smack and you catch?
I'll smack and you catch. How's that?
I'm shorter. I'm closer to the ground. I understand.
Right, so...
As an entire side of beef falls out of it. Runch. Oh.
Well, he caught it.
I got it, guys. I got it.
What do you think, Roar? Are you going to smack one, or?
No, Grow doesn't like it. He's hiding behind his lucky shield and pulling Billy up the way. No, this is bad. This is really bad.
This is really bad. Don't poke things that don't belong to you.
You
All
get
right.
nothing for free that's any good.
Leave. I'm kind of with Groar on this one.
Right. So Kenna heads off there. So, okay, so who's going to go poke the red one, or are you guys going to poke the red one?
I thought Ken already did.
I poked this one.
Oh, you poked that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. All right. A rather stinky yet popular, because you've known some in the troop who've smoked it, weed called Old Farty falls out of it into your palm, and smells kind of funky. But the red light kind of bobs up and down in front of you as you walk away from it, you said?
No, that's the one I hit initially. And got the potion from.
Oh, I thought you hit a blue one.
No, I hit this one.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll hit the blue one. That gets us the old farty.
No, the red one gives you the old fart. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have to quibble with that. Okay, fine. You get the old farty there from the red one, and then you walk away.
Yeah, I'm heading.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, this isn't good. I'm gonna leave with Roar.
It follows you. Somebody else poking another one there.
I'll
Flea
poke
and I are
another
gonna
one.
Team up on the green one right there. And I'm gonna have that nut I cast light on a long time ago ready to throw into it to see if it'll just accept the nut and go away.
So you poke the green one?
Yeah.
Okay. A live dead field mouse falls out. Do you catch it?
I hope so. Do I?
Roll me a dexterity saving throw, please.
I mean, we're collecting all kinds of animals, so why not?
Okay,
Well, it's about your size.
the field mouse, it actually lands in your palm, but you can't close your hand fast enough because you know how fast those little things can be. Immediately squeezes out, jumps on the ground, and runs off into the forest.
Ah!
I throw the nut into that one, and just in case it tries to steal something, maybe it'll just take that.
You throw the nut into it.
Yeah.
Yep, it engulfs the nut, and it begins to float off towards the north
Oh, okay.
into the forest.
Cool. I'll pick up a rock and I'll, try to put the rock in with my hand under it to catch whatever falls out. See if I can do the exchange at one time.
Was that the one that already dropped something?
No, I destroyed the one that dropped the ball. The
Oh, it came back.
the healing potion. Oh, did it come back?
I think, the one next to Killer is the one that you got out, I think.
Right. I'll throw a rock into it.
Okay. All right. It accepts the rock
Or
and it
place
floats
a
off.
rock into it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing with this one.
Okay. All right. Takes the rock and it floats away.
All right.
Okay.
I'll do
So
the
exchange program.
Yep. Let's exchange. Hey,
Okay.
Fleegan, come over here. Let's start. Let's get the last 3 of these.
Okay. So that
Alright.
blue one, give me an athletics check, one of you two.
You want to do it? Athletics, I have a +6.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay, I'll do the athletics.
I'm short.
All right.
Wow.
You get that.
Ah. That's nice.
Greater healing potion.
Okay.
Let's
All right, what
give
else?
it a rock and go to the orange one. You ready, Fleegan?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll do the same thing. Rinse and repeat with the orange one.
Okay, Fleegan, give me a acrobatics check, please. Okay. When you do that, coming out of the bottom of it, you jump about 10 feet as a weird sensation creeps up your spine as what looks to be a snake starts to very quickly, a very, very long snake, starts to fall out of the bottom of this thing and coil up around your hand and arm. What do you do?
I want the mouse! I want the mouse!
Too bad you don't have
And
a
it
mouse.
keeps, and as you're saying, I want the mouse, it continues to keep coming, and it's kind of coming and laying over your arm and your hand and everything, kind of draping down to the ground, and it's just the longest snake you've ever seen in your life, 10, 20, 30 feet of snake. It just continues to lay on your arm as it falls out of this thing. What do you do?
Is it constricting around my arm, or is it falling on
No,
my
it's just
arm
kind of
and onto
draping
the
down
ground?
to the ground as it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And after about 50 feet of it falling out, what do you do?
I back up. I drop whatever's left on me and back up a bit and say, "There's no legs. Go for it, big guy."
Well, the orange blob follows you as you begin to back up.
Throw the snake
And it's still spitting out snake.
No, it's done. No, about 50 feet of it finally lands on the ground and just kind of piles up on the ground.
Give
And,
it, give it a rock and let it go on its way.
you give it a rock, it goes off on its way, and you look down to see that there's 50 foot of silk rope laying on the ground at your feet.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Oh well, I'm glad it's not a snake.
Also
Well,
glad it's
pick
not a
that
rope
up.
of crushing.
So,
All right,
what's
So we
next?
have
do the last
this
one.
All right.
You already did one of the green ones.
Yep.
It had the
So,
fire in it.
yep. So the other green one, okay. Who's doing that one?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Fleegan, you want to help me?
I'll catch.
All right.
Acrobatics check there, Fleegan. Or no, I guess, yeah, Fleegan was the one who wants to catch acrobatics.
Yeah.
Oh, it hits your fingers as it falls out. It's a
Can I use my gooey reward? I think I have an advantage on. I'm checking. Hold on.
advantage on an ability check. Ability check.
No,
is it?
initiative. Sorry.
Make sure it's
Wrong.
not a scorpion first before you use that.
All right. Well, it's a bottle. It's a bottle that would typically hold some sort of liquor in it, and it bounces off of your finger and it hits the ground and it shatters. and you smell the sweet and a somewhat aromatic smell of alcohol as it a nice sweet aromatic alcoholic liquor kind of soaks into the dirt at your feet.
Let's not tell Gror about this one, shall we?
Start licking the ground.
Actually, Killer goes over there and starts licking it up. He starts sniffing it.
Figures he's
Well, now we
alive.
got a drunk dog. All right. Well, all
Yeah,
right. Give it a
he's
rock and
alive.
send it on its way.
Yeah, he gets a little unsteady on his feet, being an intoxicated little doggy. All right.
Oh,
So he's a box of rocks, and he walks like one too.
Yeah, you got yourself an intoxicated little doggy now.
that dog is sharp as a bag of hammers.
Do any of the items that we acquired from these lights have anybody's like markings or symbols or anything on it? Because I have a feeling somebody sent these things out to steal.
No. Actually, just other than that potion of giant strength that you found and the potion of greater healing or whatever, that has the symbols on them that normally accompany those. That's why you know what they are.
That was really strange, guys.
That is extremely strange. I will have to tell. What was the mage's name again?
Skizik.
Skizik about these.
Let's get moving, guys.
Yeah, let's get
not-
going. I'm done with tonight. I want this night to be over.
That form may have been a friend and sent these.
Maybe.
Oh,
But-
I didn't, yeah.
Let's not hang out.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get back.
Well, you guys head on down the road, and as we've said before, the night is grim. And though Luneos, the moon, is full, as is Vixen, the other moon, the smaller one, the light from the red star casts a sickening pallor upon the world. And you wonder what it might mean. Is this the sign of the gods? And what will become in the days ahead? And so as you walk, you begin to think of the blue veil. And you hope that the troop was able to contain the fire that was raging when you left. Definitely hope that Borag and Kalnassi and Cray have returned. Though you fear that they have not. And an owl hoots in the distance, low and melodious. And for some reason, it's actually a comforting sound, like a friend welcoming you home. And after a few more minutes of walking, you see the glow of lights coming from the mangy hound. What do you guys do? I'm going to go ahead and move you to the mangy hound map here.
Is Jonas awake?
Jonas is, actually no, you're pretty much carrying him at this point. He seems to have kind of passed out again in the
Grimber, do you want me to finish off the walk back?
I'll assist as I can, since we're both probably pretty tired. I don't want to drop him right here at last minute.
Oh, we found your son. I'm sorry. We found him like this.
Okay, give me just a minute to get a couple of things ready here. So, Theros is carrying Jonas, right?
Yeah, I can. Be a fireman. Carry him.
All right. Let me move you guys over there real quick. There you go. You should now be at the mangy hound outside. And you see a number of town's guards standing watch on the porch. and one opens the door as you approach to quickly usher you into the warm interior. Constable stands in the room at the bar, speaking with one of his men. When he turns to see you have returned, you see surprise, possibly the ghost of satisfaction, appear upon his face. I'm gonna go ahead and move you inside here. What do you do?
Good constable, we have Jonas. We could not find any of the others. We fear that they are dead.
He looks over and he looks around. He was actually surprised because he didn't see that Theros was actually carrying Jonas. He didn't realize that that's what he had in his arms as he does that. So over and he says to his
we
men,
need a bed.
Yeah.
He
says
is
to
not well. Go ahead.
right. He looks at one of his. He looks at his men in the room. He points to them and he says, "Go, join the watch outside. It's dark tide after all. Never know what could be looking about." And the guards shuffle out of the inn. There's a couple of guards over here standing next to the what you can only surmise is the blanket-covered dead bodies of the ruffians that you guys dispatched of when you were at the inn earlier. And Rolf comes over quickly to Theros, and he says, "My man, lay him right here on the table. Fern, come, let's get him a pillow and get him a blanket. Does he need attention? What does he need, friends? What does he need?" And you guys help lay him on the thing, and Fern comes over and begins to try and help minister to Jonas. What has happened here? What did you find? Is he okay? Is he alive? I see that he's breathing, so he's obviously alive. But what? Tell me, what has happened?
Well, there's only one of the people at the farm that got away. A large, hideous-looking man who ran off, screaming about finding Odell. And I hand him the letter from Odell to what was her name? Janice?
I think so, if I remember.
Yeah.
Right,
So, and then explained to him that, they had been feeding people to the pigs and killing anyone who came up there, and I believe that they may have been cannibals as well. But the whole farm has accidentally caught fire, and I believe is burnt to the ground at this point.
I would also like to add that Jonas was betrayed by one of his own, a Sergeant Bateman, that was sent with him.
Oh, well, and you see his recognition in his face as you say Bateman and the word betrayal and all of that. Oh, well, I should have known that Bateman. He's been acting insubordinate as of late, and it seems as if you have confirmed my worst fears about him. What has happened to Bateman? Please tell me.
Oh, he is no more.
He's been dispatched.
In a different time, in a different circumstance, the words that you just said would mean, at best, a life in the stocks, at worst, a hanging. But considering the circumstances and the situation of which has happened,
I can tell
I would
you.
choose to look the other way and say thank you for the justice and the support that you've helped our town in this matter.
I will tell you, Constable Rolf, had it not been in complete and utter self-defense, we would have captured Overkill. But they did not give us that option.
Well, I'm not surprised because the town council of Nevermore is actually filled up with brigands and thieves, and there's
And there is
nothing really
more.
that the common folk can do about it. And so I have no doubt that someone on the town or someone's on the town council has orchestrated some of this. And you mentioned Odell, and
Yes.
that also doesn't surprise me because I've been somewhat concerned and knowledgeable about some dealings by Mr. Odell. So we may need to have words with him soon. So you were saying, young, tell me what were you trying to say?
There was more. There was a witch or evil priestess that had a still. We fought the still came alive and we destroyed it, but out of it came some sort of a liquor steam creature
Elemental. It was some kind of elemental, I believe.
that we had to defeat. But if anyone has been drinking from that still, they've been drinking of that evil creature.
So you're trying to tell me that the liquor that these butchers have been trying to pawn off on people is some sort of evil
Bewitchment.
Bewitchment?
It is
Some sort of
tainted for
bewitchment.
sure.
Tainted. Well, I know that it tastes bad. I've tasted some of it myself and not felt that great after as such. And you, as he's saying that, Killer actually lets out a belch, and kind of whimpers a little bit, just kind of flops down on the ground and rolls over and shows you his belly, and kicks his legs a little bit as drool starts to kind of pour out of the side of his mouth as he's laying on the ground. And Rolf kind of gives it a glance sideways, pauses for a moment, and looks back at you all, shakes his head in dismissal, and continues, well, I'm quite intrigued about the stories of this. Tell me what else. I think I must need to know what we need to do and go up and meet these folk, and maybe have a little chat, shall we?
That they won't be talking much.
Explain what
Well,
they won't be talking much.
The butchers attacked us, and we defended ourselves. The entire family came at us from all sides. We were forced to defend ourselves, and like I said, only one of them got away.
But you should speak with Jonas. They had him hanging like a slaughtered pig.
They had him hanging amongst a group of slaughtered pigs, actually.
I do remember you saying something about that there was a big one that was the only that escaped, and I was in such a state, having seen Jonas here, that it's now all kind of coming to reality of what's going on. And you said they had him hanging. And he just looks him over and says, So
From what he told us,
you're trying to tell me that
they were
took
going
care
to
of this problem for us.
Took care of this
Yes.
problem.
that is
Well,
a proper way to say it. Yes.
Well, having seen what you have done with, and he gestures over towards the blankets covering the bodies laying on the ground, seeing what you've done previously and in your abilities, I'm not surprised that. But against a whole clan, and he kind of lets out a low whistle, clear impress at what you're relaying to him. But you say that there is a big one left who escaped.
Yes, he said he was going to go inform Odell, and he ran. Well, he jumped out of the second floor window and ran off into the woods.
We're
He was
probably
bigger
actually-
than me, and he hit harder than I hit.
I know I
Big-
look pretty messed up. I would assume the rest of
Bigger
the party
than me.
does too.
He looks over at Kimber and he says, "My man, I'm sorry. I was hard to hear. So many of you were speaking at once. What were you saying?"
Just that there was so much happening that I used all of the gifts that my God would have granted me, and we're all in need of rest and healing. It has taken much out of us. I am actually surprised myself that we made it back.
At this, Kenna looks exhausted, and she kind of sits down in one of the chairs because she's like, yeah.
But we must get back to our troop. Last we left, some nefarious person had set fire to some of the tents, and they were struggling to put it out.
Well, yes, I suppose you probably should get this taken care of. But I'm quite intrigued about your story. He looks over at Grower and he says, "You over there, dwarf. Tell me, I know your parents, Stoof and Lena. Would they be interested in maybe us purchasing a large portion of their fine libations to have available here? I would love to not only give you the reward due that I had told you that I would give you, but maybe as well give you a bit more. Do you think that they would be interested in selling some of that to us to keep here?" Did you hear that, Trey?
Yeah.
You-
Sorry about that. My mic was turned off.
Okay.
I would assume so, right? By how much supply we have.
Oh yeah. I mean, if anybody's offering to buy a certain amount of your supply, you'd be quite excited about that, actually.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I just remember that we sold some to the dwarf, and I didn't think that would have like ran us out or anything like that.
No, you'd have plenty, and more could be made while you're traveling on to the next location as well,
Then
because it's
Gro-
quite some ways away. But
Grower will reply, "Yes, and gladly so. We would be quite happy to."
right, I know that it's dark tide and you're not leaving tonight, so maybe tomorrow first thing before you all finish packing up to leave, I'll stop in at first light and make sure that it's worth it as a thank you as well. And he also pulls a quite hefty bag of coin off of his pouch and begins to hold it out to you. And as he's doing so, you hear a bit of commotion going on outside, and you all turn to look towards the door where you're hearing the commotion come into the door, and you hear a gruff female voice say, "Halt! Who goes there?" And she seems to be questioning somebody outside, and there's muffled replies that sound give you somewhat make you somewhat relaxed as you recognize the smooth tenor voices of those belonging to the bard Grayson from the troupe. And you hear him say, "Oh, we're just out for a stroll under Luneus, my friend. Thought we might stop in the inn for a pint and maybe a sturdy bed." And you hear the woman reply, "Oh, right, a stroll in the moonlight, dark tide, with
Ew,
some
infested waters.
Through eel-infested waters.
And with some evil red star shining in the sky? Oh, come on. State your real business, brigand, or you'll be singing a different tune from the stalks. What do you guys do?
I move for the door to.
I'll step out
presence.
onto the porch.
Groor will
Grayson.
stay with the bag of money, talking that over with him and waiting for it.
And a second. Alright, here, just a second. Alright, there we go. Alright. So you guys step over to look outside, and Rolf kind of comes over with you as well, and he says to his guard, who's a female guard over here, he says, "Whoa, what's going on out there, Corporal Levine?" And she says, "Oh, I caught this lot looking round in the shadows, sir." And she does this without taking her eyes off of the four of them. And you actually see Skizig and Grayson and Grelda, the two bards, and then Vestia as well, the other female magician of the troop, who's one of the Bondoran Council.
Constable,
with
they're
that-
with our troop.
Yes. Yes, so I do recognize these folk, and with that, shortly after you say that, Grelda, the half-elf bard, she cranes her neck around and she looks up behind one of the guards who's standing in front of her there as Kimber and Kenna kind of pop out. She says, "Oh, we've been looking everywhere for you guys. The twins told us someone had robbed Mother Salvenza's wagon and said that you had gone after them, but well,
We
they
did.
weren't much
we did.
help beyond that." Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good to see that you all are okay. Huh. Did you find the thieves?
Yes. And
What happened?
Constable Rolf has helped us deal with them, and I will tell you the tale at the next campfire.
Killer kind of gets up and he wobbles around the room a little bit, and he goes over and he kind of licks Theros's boot, and then kind of stumbles out over towards the door because apparently he wants to go outside, and he walks over to this this guard right here and lifts his leg and starts peeing on the guard's leg.
Killer! I'll grab a hold of his leash and take him down the stairs and get him to relieve himself other places.
Bad killer.
The guard kind of looks down and kind of shakes his leg off and gives you a look of smeared, and says, "Shazot, do something with your pup before I do something with it for you."
I'll just take him down. I won't even look at him. I'll just grab Killer and take him down and have him pee on the ground instead.
Yeah. The
His
guard
name
grabs
is-
us. What's that?
Maybe his name is Hoser and not Killer.
That goes.
Well,
We ever hear anybody say his name was Killer or see any proof of it? I mean,
It's on his neck.
He's
There's
got
his
a
leash.
tag hanging around his neck, around his leash that says
are we
Killer
sure
on
it doesn't say Hoser though? I mean,
It says Killer. And it's a dog bone.
Yeah.
So-
Hoser the Hoserian. It's,
Well, he's your dog now. You can call him whatever you want.
It's still Killer.
And in fact, Gror, go ahead and take advantage for that one, or inspiration for that one. And as the guard grabs his halberd to, you could tell he's a little bit miffed about that. Rolf just gently puts his hand on the man's shoulder and kind of calms him down just at a moment for that. But you recognize very quickly that Rolf's natural mistrust of the Hanatized people might have actually quite significantly abated from what you have done, and he hands you a pouch full of 50 golds.
Wow.
For your service.
50
And,
yells.
He's quite thankful, and at that moment, as you guys are kind of settling down. Corporal Levine has kind of standed down as they recognize that these are folks from the troop and they're with you, and that nobody means anybody any harm. Jonas kind of stirs, and you hear Fern say, Rolf, come here, Jonas, it's Jonas. And Rolf runs over and says, Jonas, oh, my boy, tell us, are you okay? These folks, they've told me quite the tale of the butchers and all that's going on. What has happened? And can you verify their story just to make sure? I believe them. I think they're telling the truth, but I just want to know. Jonas says, Uncle, oh, thank the gods. Thank the gods. Oh, these folks, they protected me, they saved me, they brought me back. And I would not have lived much longer after what that woman, that evil. You see a strange look in his eye of trauma. And he pauses.
I think he needs a drink. We need a drink for this.
And he kind of just shakes it off and shakes his head, and he says, the woman that, not even sure that I know her name, but the things that she's done, things that she did to me, the things that happened to Trink. Oh, Rolf, I can't do this anymore. And Rolf says, Jonas, you've been through a lot. You need to rest. Let us get you some care. We will take care of you. So, these folk, they speak true. What's that?
Gror offer him a drink?
Sure. You offer Jonas a drink?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. You go offer him. What do you got? A Winterberry
cherry cordial?
Or
yeah,
cherry cordial? Yeah, the Winterberry
Tell
cordial.
him, don't worry, she's been dispatched, never to trouble ye again.
Oh, Rolf, I do believe that she was wearing the symbol of the dark god Ulfons.
At that, he shudders. He gives a visible shudder.
Yes.
He says, worshippers of Ulfons, amidst in this town?
Yes.
Oh, I must take a whole company of men to have a quote-unquote discussion with Odile about these things. Quite concerning as well. Jonas accepts the Winterberry cordial happily and takes a good swig of it, and just kind of sighs in relief. And he says, "My friend, I've never had a friend. I've never had a dwarf friend before, but you, I could always call friend. Thank you, sir. Thank you for what you and your brethren have done this day, and know that if you ever come to Nevermore, you have a place at my home and a seat at my table. We shall drink of remembrance of these times, and we shall talk of other greater times when that will happen."
We thank you for your friendship. I shake his hand.
His hand's somewhat weak, but he's able to shake that and accept it. And may I have one more drink of that?
I tell him he can keep it all. Let me hand it to him.
He gives you a smile. He says, "You're a good lad. Thank you, sir." And he looks at your axe, at the ornate scrawlings upon your axe. He says, "My friend, I've never seen a weapon. I'm somewhat of a connoisseur of fine blades, and never seen one of its like. It seems as if it's not of this region. Can you tell me more about it? Where did it come from? How did you come by it?"
Tell him that people of my kind were adventuring far to the south, right? Is it the south?
Yes.
And I met them, and we struck a great friendship, and they gave this to me as a gift.
quite a generous gift that somebody would just give that to you. That is a fine make. In the scrawlings on there, they have a. Oh, I said it's obviously not of here. And as I look at it a little closer, I think that may have come from. Zustrania. Far to the south continent, almost on the other side of the world. I've seen those kinds of markings before. Zustrania. Very strange indeed to see something of that make in these parts of the world.
Yes, I'm quite lucky to have been given it, and I treasure it greatly.
Yes. Well, you do, sir, and you use it for good, as you've continued to do so before. But and he kind of sways a little bit. You see that his strength, and he says, "Oh, my strength is abated. I think I must rest." And what time is it? Does anybody know what time it is? And at that, Barded, the other innkeep, Fern's husband, he says, "Oh, I do believe we heard 11 bells not too long ago. It's probably on about 11:30 bells. It's getting late. I'm thankful that Darktide will be over soon, and we can move on from this dark night for another year and into this work and into this year as we move towards the Feast of Winter's Dance. I hope we can get past all of this and enjoy Winter's Dance and enjoy the excitement and the cheer from the holidays as people gather within the inn and we get past all of these dark things that happen. I'm so tired of dark tide already. Too much has happened this night. We must get some rest and we must shut up for the night. Rolf, we're happy to leave these bodies here if you want to collect them in the morning." And Rolf says, No, I would not burden you with that. We will get our men. And he whistles, and a whole bunch of guards appear very quickly inside the room. And he says, Men, gather up these bodies. Let's leave Barded and Fern in peace for the evening. And we get on and get some rest. And you all get back to camp, and we'll see you at first light. And thank you again for what you have done.
I shake his hand and nod to the innkeepers and head out with the rest of our troop.
All right, that sounds good. Okay. So with that, everybody goes their separate way, and you guys know the way back towards camp, and even such. You go with Grayson and Grelda and Vestia and Skizik as you head back to camp. Let me go ahead and get you all back over there real quick. Everything's kind of sluggish tonight.
Give a shout out to Juliet. She's watching right now.
Hey, Juliet. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on the map if you want to head towards the Tent of Jests. You guys see is the only tent that's left up. That's Anton's tent. That's where Mother and Vezi were being tended to earlier in the day, and all the rest of the camp has been packed up. As you come back, you see that there are some large scorched and burn marks on the ground. That looks like the gambling tents have kind of left their mark from the fires on the ground, but the fires have been put out. The tent is of Jest is the only one that's left standing. Even the tall tent has been packed up into its suitcase. And what do you guys do when you get back? The others, Grace and Grelda, Vested, Skizik, and all, bid you a good evening and say we're going to be leaving hopefully here pretty soon, and you guys should probably consider getting some rest. What do you guys do?
I'll
on,
ask
the,
them. Oh, go ahead.
on the trip back, I'm going to tell Skizik about the porter spell that we ran into.
He gets kind of excited about that. He says, I never really was able to get that working. I'm surprised that you came across that and you remembered that time we were talking about those. That's interesting. Tell me, what did they look like?
I described the different colored balls and that when we poked them, they dropped things out, and then they tried to, collect other things, so we fed them rocks to go away. So whoever cast the spell is going to end up with a pocket full of rocks.
That sounds quite logical, because they do. That's exactly what their job is, to go gather stuff, and they were gathering, and they had something, and you took from what they had, but then they expected to gather something in return. But the colored lights, yes, I think I've heard about those being a variation on that, but only higher level, even higher level wizards than I myself, I've studied for quite some time, could cast those that would have those colors and be able to carry items such as what you have found. Usually they're just used for small bits of component gathering and such, but a whole plate of tarts and vials of potions?
And a 50-foot roll of silk rope.
That must have been a big one. Huh. Wow. Well, whoever casted that spell, powerful. Very powerful. Indeed. Kind of gives a contemplative look at you as he says such. So what do you guys do?
Well, I also would like to ask, on the way back, have my parents returned? Do you know if...
As of the time, well, who would answer that? I guess Vestia would
since they
answer
left.
that. Vestia would probably answer that because she's the one of the Bundoran, everything, and she says, "Oh dear Thero, so I'm sorry to say I don't know the exact answer to that, but I will say that when we left, they had not returned yet. Hopefully they're back. I would suppose they'd be back by now. We've been out for at least a couple of hours, and so we'll get quickly back, and hopefully we'll see them be reunited before you all get to bed." Somebody else was asking a question.
I definitely want to check up their Salventia and take to the elders or whoever's here that we recovered those items.
Yes.
And check on Vessi.
Rolf wants to tell Stoof that they are ordering alcohol from the bar for us to bring it there to the inn.
Great. Okay, so Gror, you head off to your wagon to meet with your parents and you talk with them. They are up, awake. They are excited. Your mom runs over to you and she throws her arms around you. "Oh, my boy. Oh, my boy. Oh, I'm so happy that you all are just fine. Oh, tell me about it. You want a sandwich? I'll make you a sandwich."
Yes, please, Mom. I'm very hungry.
She makes you the biggest, fattest sandwich, and you tell her your story, and you've told them so many stories over the last couple of days, and they've never been more prouder of you than they have, especially with the news that they're going to make some good coin after selling some barrels of liquid at first light. But that's not just what they're the most happy about. The exciting part is that you've really kind of come of age. It's impressive to them, and they can't tell you how many times they're so excited and so proud of you.
Do I still have that burning feeling thing going on?
Funny you should mention that, because it's something that kind of comes and goes, and so you begin to think about that as you're traveling back from the Mangy Hound, and you recognize that it's still kind of dull, but you begin to kind of meditate on it a little bit, and as such, you realize that it intensifies at the point that you glance towards that red star in the sky, and as you glance away from it, the dull burning kind of subsides to the point where you almost don't think about it much more. And it's very direct to that. And as you're thinking about it again, and were you attempting to tell your parents about it, or were you going to keep it to yourself?
Yeah, I was about to, if it was relevant or not. But if it subsided that much, I guess I guess I would describe it to them though as having kind of gone away or something now. A degree.
Yeah. Your mother gets a very concerned look on her face, and she says, "Oh dear. Oh dear. Never heard much like that before. I think you might want to talk to Mother Salvenza about this."
I will, Ma.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Fleegan. I think everybody else has kind of talked about what they're doing. What are you doing?
I'm going to check in on Vezi. See
Okay.
how she's doing.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Okay. So Gror goes over, meets with his parents. Kenna, did you say what you were doing?
I would go to the wagon I share with my mom and I think the other dancers.
Okay.
Just walk in. If she's up, excellent. If she's not, then I'll hug her in her bed. And like when I was a young girl, I'm going to curl up in the bed next to her.
Okay.
Just to have that comfort of mom.
Yeah. The other girls are sleeping.
Next time Gror wants to do that too. The dancers.
Back off, man. Back off.
A cuddly dwarf.
Of course, because why not?
Half the town wants to do that, so.
Well, yeah.
And the other half wants to sleep with the Gror's parents. That's where all the liquor is.
That's what I'm saying. Next time I want to do that, not this time.
Maybe the next night. Well, it's dark tide. Things like this just don't go well on dark tide. So the other girls are sleeping. Your mom is in bed. Whether or not she is asleep, it's hard to tell because when you come in, she sits up and she's very happy that you have returned. And she says, "My dear, I've not had a chance to really speak much with you recently. Sounds like much has gone on. I've heard much about what has happened."
And I kind of explain everything to her, and with a heavy bent on the frustration of being treated the way we are, and the fact that Rolf now appreciates and has much more respect for us and our troop. But just the sheer uphill battle of it all, and the frustration and the anger and the rage that I want to take out on these people sometimes.
Yeah. Your emotion gets the best of you, and you begin to weep as you tell her the story. Your throat kind of chokes up, and it's tough. And her eyes kind of well up as you're talking to her as well, and she wraps her arm around you as she's done throughout her years raising you. And you guys have a good cry and a good talk and comfortable, and you more or less kind of weep yourself to sleep. The exhaustion just envelops you.
Wow, you smell like poo, and she's still able to hug you.
So you guys curl up together and you fall asleep in her arms. Okay. All right. So the rest of you then check in with Theros. I think you said you were going to check in with.
Yeah,
them, right?
I'll check in, and then I'll do a once around the encampment, just checking things out.
Okay. You check in and you notice that Anton and Selver are still ministering over an unresponsive mother who is unconscious, and Vezi who is still just sitting there and staring off directly in the direction of the red star in the sky at this moment.
Fleegan will
She's
sit
in the
there next
tent,
to her
but
and give her a hug and kind of lean into her.
it's hard for you because you feel for her so much, and she is your little sister. You have adopted her as a little sister, and it's tough for you to see her in this state, and you have no idea what must be going on with her at this moment, and the terror in her eyes, and the remembrance that she's been this way now for over 24 hours. It's very hard on you, and you feel like it's going to be very difficult for you to sleep this night. But Selvra and Anton tell you that they have ministered to these two all day, and it seems as if nothing they can do can raise them, and they're hoping upon hope that the Bondoran return, and in fact, they say, yeah, Borag and Cray and Kalnassi have not returned yet. And they are quite concerned about that as well, and you can tell that they're just so tired. They've now been up for a day and a half straight. They were just absolutely exhausted.
I just realized Jonas's token is with us, so apparently he followed us to the camp.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Zoink.
That's what happens when you copy and paste. All right.
Whoop.
But Anton and Selvra look at you all, and they say, "You must be getting to bed." To Fleegan and to Kimber, you've done a great service again for the troop. What's that, Kimber?
Does she still have that phoenix feather with Mother Salvinsa?
Yes, the phoenix feather is still. They've actually tied a string around it and hung it above the bed that she's laying in, with the hopes that somehow, in some way, it will help. Anton says that the night has been not near as dark as he would have expected, being Darktide's night, and he surmises that it has to do with the protection being offered by that feather, along with the Darktide lanterns around the tent that he's in. So he is quite grateful for that. But he looks over at you and Kimber, and he says, "Oh, my son, Kimber, you must be getting rest. Much has happened these days, and the gods know, by the grace of Jinx, that I may need your help come tomorrow. So, get some rest. Get some rest, good boy. Get off to bed. Get off to bed."
Yes, I am no use to you right now. I'll see you in the morning.
Good boy. Good boy. And you, Fleegan, come on. Get on to bed. We will take care of Vezi. She'll be fine. We shall see. What do you do, Fleegan?
I will leave the tent with a grumpy face.
Did you give Vezi the teddy?
So your normal face.
Selvra walks over and she gives you a little side hug. She says, "It's all right, Fleegan. She will be fine. She is safe, and we appreciate your help." And she must have had some sort of a soothing salve or something like that. She kind of rubs your head a little bit, and it instantly kind of calms you down and makes you feel like you have a bit more of an opportunity to sleep now tonight. It kind of calms your nerves a bit.
I will look at her and say, "We found this bear. Do you think Vezi would like it?" And show her the bear.
She kind of smiles at the bear and smiles at you, and she says, "It would not hurt. It would not hurt for sure. Maybe it will help."
So I will run back to Vizzy and put the bear in her lap
Okay. All right.
and walk out the tent.
Okay. All right. So you guys head back to your bunks. Theros does a once around of the camp. And at some point, as you're traveling near the forest, near the perimeter of the camp, you again see that dark shape in the trees watching you. Not moving, not making a sound. You don't even see eyes, you just see a shape.
I will. It's Batman.
Go check on the dancer.
I think that's
trailer.
inspiration from Art. No.
Go check the dancers trailer and make sure they're all okay.
Gror is going to go check the dancers trailer?
Theros should. Gror's busy.
Oh.
Happy to do so.
Someone may end up with an arrow in them if they try that.
I will.
Thank it. It gave us gifts, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say. I don't know if it was you, but we thank you for the kind gifts you provided to us. And I'll continue my perimeter walk around before I get back to my bunk.
Okay. All right. It heads on and you go back to your bunk. And you all collapse into your bedroll around the fire. Find yourself swiftly drifting off into an exhausted slumber. Even by Hanata's standards, the day has been remarkable. But you and your fellow Zatis have proven yourselves more than tough and capable enough to be worthy of the name. You feel a great satisfaction at being trusted by the senior members of the troop with tasks vital to the Blue Veil. And the vindication of that trust today feels even better. Yet still, that elated feeling is severely tampered by the fact that Borag and Kalnassi and Cray are as yet unaccounted for. And while your actions may have even started to build a grudging respect, if not friendship, with the town of Nevermore, you don't know if there will ever be anywhere that accepts your people without at least a few sidelong glances. But still, the possibility of a place that would see your colorful wagons approaching without open disdain is a miracle in and of itself. Regardless, you know the only home you ever need is on the road, surrounded by the family of misfits and wanderers that is the Blue Veil. And Fleegan, as you drift off to sleep, you absent-mindedly curl your arm around a fuzzy black bear, pressed close up against your chest. And Fleegan, come to you in a second. You all sleep. You do sleep that night, but it's still dark tide. And so the night is full of uncomfortable feelings. Your dreams are plagued by visions of sharp-clawed creatures with glowing red eyes, in grasping twigs made in the form of hands, and upside-down skeletons, and squealing, steaming pipes, and stinky poop-covered giant possums, and squealy, large, fanged beasts that want to tear the flesh from your limbs, and flying skyships with people falling from them time and time again with no way to be able to catch and save them. Flying golden birds that help the night terrors abate for some time, but then they circle back around And you see hogs chewing on the bones of obviously dead people. And your friends, cold and harried, as they try and put out flames of green fire that don't want to seem to go away. And as they pour water on them, they grow ever more. You see the tall tent burst into flames and burn to the ground time and time again. And you see images of people visiting you upon the road and telling you stories of how the Hanatas have wronged them and taken their money. And it's a hard night. And as you all finally in the early hours of morning drift off into a sleep of no dreams, Fleegan, you do have a dream. And unfortunately, my friend, this is what you dream. And the reason I'm going to tell you all this dream is because it means something. And because we're streaming this game, and I know you all have really been immersed within the story, I think, though, in some ways I would reveal it to him and he could reveal it to you. I think it's more impactful if I reveal it to you. So I'm going to reveal to you his dream, and knowing that your characters don't know this. But I want you as the players to know this. So Fleegan, remember, this is just the night after the night before when you had a dream after you had fallen faint from Dark Tide's Eve. And you remember that dream well, and I know you've spoken of that to your peers. So as with the night before, the sickness racks your body again. The waves of nausea are unrelenting. But then, as quickly as it came, the nausea passes. And you find yourself on your knees in the cold wetness as before. But now the ground is spongy and soft, and the horrid smell still hangs in the air above you, covering you like a voluminous, grotesque robe. But it seems to have no further effect. You do not know how you know it. But plague has consumed all who live. And you are the last. And you breathe in the heavy, infected air, taking it deeply into your lungs. To your horror, you savor the sickly sweet scent. But suddenly, you hear a voice. It's calling your name and beseeching you for aid. But it's far away. You recognize the one calling. It is a girl. Someone you know. But you cannot fathom who it might be. But they are begging you to help them, pleading for you to save them. And then without a warning, the voice is silenced. And you waken. Your head is pounding in your skull, and the voice unnamed still echoes in your mind. You cannot escape the feeling that the one whom you love is in great peril, but you know not who. And you sleep no more that night. So, you rest uneasily in your beds, but you do wake the next morning. And as the sun dawns, as dawn breaks, there's a cool chill in the air, and the night of darkness and dark tide has passed. And the day Dawn's clear. Find, there we go. There it is. You're sore, but you're rested. You've never had such a series of fights before over the last couple of days. The strange, vile things you saw under the time of Darktide seem almost like a dream in the bright, clear air of dawn. No, not a dream. What would you call it? A nightmare, actually. And the remainder of the horrors you experienced hangs in the sky above you. Because as you leave your wagons in your tent, you look up, and that strange red star can still be seen dimly shining even in the light of the soul. And the morning finds you with a surprising lack of purpose. As most everyone is just milling about, having already completed the preparations for moving on. And you see Janig, that's Theros' little brother, wandering aimlessly through what is left of the camp. There's a pair of dark streaks forming under his eyes from many fearful tears. Theros, what do you do?
I'll go over and swoop him up in my arms and tell him it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
He says,
Mom and Dad will be back soon.
He says, brother, they have not returned. It's been a day now.
But you know who's tougher than Mom and Dad? No one. They'll be back. Don't worry. But in the meantime,
they've never been gone this long. I'm so scared. I don't know what to think.
Where's Sis? Have you seen her?
No, she may be snoring. I don't know. You know her. She doesn't get up very early.
Since he's my little brother, what calms him?
Usually some sweets. You put him in a sleeper hold.
I'll wrestle with him a little bit, and then I'll take him over and see if we can get him something sweet and tasty to eat.
Okay. That perks him up a bit, and actually, you find out fairly quickly as you guys are getting some breakfast, and that it was probably more of low blood sugar than anything. I mean, obviously the concern for his parents and all, but most of the reason he was kind of beside himself was he just needed to eat something as kids do. You're a dad, you know how these things go.
Yep. Yeah.
And you did quite well with him. And as you're doing that, your friend Freesia Firehair comes running over to you all, and she says, "Hey!" And you're all together at this point around the camp getting some breakfast. And you look in her direction, and you see Freesia there, and she says, "You!" She's slightly out of breath. Anton needs you now. Mother's awake. What do you guys do?
Sprint to the tent.
Sprint to the tent.
Run to go see Mother.
Is Vessi better?
Says, I don't know. Anton said to come and get you quickly. So I came to found you. I don't know what's going on with Vessi.
I'll pick up my brother and put him on my shoulders and carry him back over.
This is what I'm looking for. I meant to play this earlier. Okay.
I'll run it now.
All right. So you guys quickly, all of you, I assume?
Yeah.
Head over to the tent? Okay. All right. Well, upon arriving at the tent, you find Mother, which you guys very well know, sitting up with both of her hands clutching Anton's. And again, you guys have seen Anton before.
Mm-hmm.
And Vezi is also lucid, much to Fleegan's
Huzzah! Huzzah!
comfort. And she's actually voraciously tearing into a loaf of bread and a hunk of roasted bear meat. And upon seeing you all, Mother will reach a shaking hand out to you all. You are all obviously thrilled to see that Mother is finally awake, but that feeling is quickly replaced with concern as you see the terrified expression on her gaunt, haggard-looking face as she reaches her trembling hands out to you. And she says, "That is something. Something comes. We must make haste and leave this place immediately. There is no time to lose." What do you guys do?
I will get outside. I'll see if we can get the council together and make sure that we are all ready to go. Start looking for all the different council members.
So you head off to try and grab the council members?
Council members, so that we can organize and get going.
Well, you find Brian and you find Vestia, but you do not find your parents nor Cray. And while you run off to do that, the rest of you are hanging out in there. And Anton says, "But Mother, I have already told you, Borag and Kalnessi and Cray have not yet returned." The dark circles under his bloodshot eyes plainly showing his exhaustion. Mother turns back to face him and grabs his arm with surprising strength. "We must not wait. Danger. It comes." She shakes her head. "They will need to catch us on the road, or they won't find us at all." She looks to your group once again. What do you guys do?
I explained to her that we have made friends with the constable by saving his nephew, and perhaps we could reach out to them and let them know what is going on, and perhaps, for the first time, outsiders may help us.
She nods and thinks on this a bit. What else do you guys do?
Run over and hug Vezi.
Vezi smiles and kind of giggles a little bit and pushes you away. "Oh, Flagon, I'm hungry. Just, can you let me eat, please?"
Or wants to hug the mother.
Gror gives Mother a hug.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's very frail, but she accepts your hug. She pats you on the back and she says, "Oh, Gror, let me think. Let me think about what this day holds for you. So much has changed. So much has happened. But I know you most of all have made good choices. And we are quite thankful that you are with us. Thank you for who you are. Know that parents have done well in raising you the right way."
Thank you, Mother.
And now tell me, what was on that piece of paper? You're
It's
kind
a
of
map.
shocked because you had never talked to her about that.
What? Which piece of paper, Mother?
No, the talk.
Oh.
The one that came as a gift.
Well, I was gonna ask you sort of more about what was on it, but I think it's a map.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
It's got
Not today.
writing that I don't know. Weird writing. Strange.
I would be interested in seeing that, but not today. We will look at it along the road. Okay?
Yes. I have many questions, but they can wait. Just feel better.
We will have time on the road. We have long trip ahead of us. Kenna, what'd you do?
Seeing this and hearing what she's saying, I just walk over, give her a squeeze on the shoulder, and say, Mother, I will start rounding things up and getting the caravan in line, and I will turn and head out the tent and start, okay, everybody, get the wagons in a line, let's go!
And as you turn around and yell that, she says, Kenna dear, you must wait. This is for you to hear as well. And Theros, you come back as well after only finding Cray and Vestia, but they do come with you. So you're all together with her, with Cray and Vestia. Doggy and or not Cray, I'm sorry, Bran and Vestia.
You mean Bran? Yep.
Yeah, Bran and Vestia. Killer and
Poser, eh?
Kozer, yeah. Hey, and what's his name? What's the
Billy.
goat's name? Billy. Wow. They're actually over with the animals and Killer's sitting there chewing on a real big bear bone, just enjoying himself to all get out. But he seems to have a hangover too. Anyhow, yeah, you guys are all in the tent there, and she's oh good, the Bondoran, they be here. They must hear this too. She looks at you all, and she gives each one of you a direct look in the face, in the eyes, and you see a very serious look come upon her face. She says, look at me, my Zekis. You are no longer Fenta. I named this as Prema Bondoran of the Blue Veil. You will help protect that troop now as full members of the Hanatas. So what that means is that you are no longer Frenta. You are now not only full adult Hanatas, but you are also Bondoran, each one of you. She has placed upon you the mantle of leadership of the troop. And you are taken aback. Never has a Frenta been so elevated. And while you are as honored as you have never been, there is also fear in your heart. Something has driven her to this extreme decision. Something dangerous. Something dire. How do you guys respond?
Quimber's gonna... he's praying a little while ago, but at this he'll sort of fall to his knees and tear up in his eyes, for he, finally has a family, as many have been talking of seeing their parents and family and things like that. The Hanatas are all he has, and to be elevated in such a way, even under such dire circumstances, just tears into his heart in the best way, but it hurts really bad and overtakes him, and he wells up and cries and tries to hold in the sobbing noises and grabs his holy symbol and starts thanking Kismia and Jinx and stuff, and he just it's like hallelujah.
Cool. What else are you guys doing? Or who else is doing something?
So after a little bit of having Fleegan's mouth open, he closes it, nudges Theros, and says, "You know, I knew it was coming with me, but you were a surprise."
I'll say, Mother, you won't be disappointed. And I'll step out of the tent and start getting everyone rounded up to get the wagons on the route.
Okay.
Gorgeous stands very proudly, swells his chest, and strokes his beard. Looks off into the distance very thoughtfully.
Okay. Good.
Kenna will step forward and kneel in front of Mother. I promise you that while my father is away, I will do his job to the best of my ability for this troop. This is my family. You are my friends.
She places her hand upon your shoulder and just gives you a very respectful nod and approving glance and smiles as you've never seen her smile to you before, and your heart just warms at the smile. And she reaches over and she grabs the hand of Fleegan. She pulls him close and she begins to whisper in his ear what only sounds to the rest of you is gibberish. But Fleegan understands what she says into his ear. And again, as I did before with the dream, I'm going to go ahead and read this to you guys because I think it really does benefit to the story of our adventure. But know again that your characters don't know this, of what is said, unless Fleegan chooses to share it with you. What she says is, "In voided skies comes evil's face. Green fire burns in sight's dark place. The long dead foe of ancient days reaches from the shadowed ways. Then shall come the dreaded one, 'tis said a sign to end has come. But she who was the first of we hath said another thing could be. He shall walk with ones so named, Luck's hand, the trick, her sacred flame. Together these shall tempt the fates and cast their lot of death's dark gates. In writings kept in sacred halls, seek the truth where fortune calls. 'Tis there where lies may be found right, the cursed one may win the sight. The darkest dream perhaps untrue, and prophecies could be undone. The fool's jest, played so long ago, could not be the true not so."
And yeah, I will go ahead and share that with the rest of the crew.
Okay, I will go ahead and share it with you all then. So you all should have that in your journal now. So you guys hear this gibberish, but then Fleegan immediately begins to recite to you all what she had said. You guys are welcome to speak amongst yourself if you'd like.
As we're leaving the tent, I mumble to Theros, have I mentioned that I hate prophecy?
Let's get on the road, people.
Yeah, let's do this. I'll take point. I seem to be pretty good at that.
And as you kind of discuss about that, and you watch the milky white of Mother's eyes start to ebb away and clear, you wonder, were it even possible? She looks even more frail and weary than she had before, and her posture slackens, and she appears as though she could collapse back into the pillows beside her at any moment. Yet Anton wraps his arm around her to keep her from falling over, and her eyes close as exhaustion takes her away, and she goes back to sleep. And then Selvra interjects and says, well, Borag and Cray and Kalnassi are more than capable of dealing with whatever is thrown at them. I assure you, they'll have no trouble finding us later. Mother says that we need to go now. Well, then we go. She looks over at the party. She says, Zatis, you should take the lead wagon. I shall take the rear with Trenuv and Mika. You again are taken aback, because riding lead wagon is a significant honor and a great responsibility for those who do so. Typically, that's reserved for Cray and Brayan and Kalnassi. They're the only ones who ride lead for the troop. However, given the current circumstances, you're in no position to argue. And then you hear a voice from behind you saying, and I shall ride with you. And it's Vestia. And again, you guys saw her the night before. She's the what you guys often call the mistress of secrets. And then she continues on. Anton and Selvra, you are both exhausted. I tell you, Skizik shall take the rear for a few hours along with the bards to give you some rest. We shall put Brayan on first wagon and our 3 gamblers at center wagon, and our defenses are thin, I know, but we have little choice. So Selvra nods her head at Vestia. She says, well, agreed, my sister. I thank you. And then she turns to the group. Now, friends, we go. We have little time to waste.
Okay.
And as you start to file out of the tent, Selvra calls after you. And my Zatis, understand this responsibility. There can be no shirking of duty. We put the entire caravan at the risk. If we are not fully alert... Sorry, I stepped on a few. We just wanted to get through that. What were you saying?
Let's get Mother Sylvenza moved to a wagon and get this tent torn down.
Okay.
Come on, people. And I start, rounding people up to get everything, the last bits loaded and get the wagons in order. Looks like we have quite a few wagons from the picture, so.
Yeah. Are we going back to the liquor deal at the Mangy Hound, or was that already done?
I was actually just getting to that, Gore. I was going to let you know that just after all this has happened, Rolf shows up, and you see him heading on into the camp area with a bit of a weary look on his face of just tired from being up late the night before. But he comes in and he sees you and comes over towards you. And says, "Oh, that's a good lad right there. As I mentioned tonight, I'm good on my word, or as I mentioned last night, I'm here to finish with the transaction. Would you mind leading me over to where your parents be, so that we can get this taken care of?" He's got a group of men with him that they're pulling a wagon behind one of the horses. They're coming through. So.
The men are pulling the wagon. Wait,
the horse is in the wagon. They're pulling it.
It's awesome. I got to show my parents that. Follow me. Say, walk this way, and I walk kind of silly and see if they copy me.
I will approach Rolf and
I
say,
lead
how
them.
is your nephew? How is Joe?
Oh dear. He's all right. He will recover. I hope physically, most definitely. But don't know. It's going to be some time before he can walk again. And I don't really want him to do too much for some time. He's been through quite a lot. He's with his family now. They will care for him, and maybe someday, as you make it back around these parts, we can come and have a much finer day, and we'll save some of this cordial and some other drinks, and maybe we'll share some fine wine and enjoy a story and more tales about your travels as days go on. But it sounds like you all are ready to head on out, so let's get this transaction going, and we'll get that taken care of. I'm sorry, my dear, you were saying?
Kismia's blessing on you and your family.
To you all, have a pleasant journey, my friends. And that is the kindest that he has ever been to you all. And, he goes over with Gror, and he produces a fairly large pouch of probably upwards of a couple hundred golds, and asks, "What kind of a gathering of barrels of your famous libations may I take for this amount, my friends?" And with that, you guys have a lot prepared, but even what you have prepared would not come to even a generous amount of what he's offering you. Gror, what do you do?
So you're saying we should be giving him more, right?
No, yes. What I'm saying is you should be giving him more for the 200 golds that he's offering you.
How much?
And you can even make a decision on what your parents are responding to at this point.
They can see it's a bigger bag. I would suggest that we should, go deeper into the stocks. I'll say, Father, where should I get the rest?
We don't have, or what is he? He speaks with more of a Scottish accent. I'm not very good at that right now. Anyhow, he basically says that we don't have enough to fulfill that order, friend. I don't know what to say, but we can give you what we have, and what do you think is a fair price for these 10 barrels that we have here? Rolf looks at him, and he looks at you, Gror. He says, "What say you, young man? What say you to a thank you from those in our town for what you have done, and we shall make a buck or two on this fine drink with Fern, so it is worth it to us. What say you? Should we just take it and call it even?"
Perhaps we can bring you back more on our next return as well.
No. Maybe you are a fine lad who has a good compromise. But we shall see. If you so desire as such, I do not wish to be too forward, but I think it's important that we give you proper thanks for what has happened. So if you so choose to want to give us more when you pass by this direction, I will not argue the point, but we shall see when the time comes. And if it does not happen, I shall not be hurt. So, thank you, but take it, enjoy it, use it to help yourselves along the road, my friends, and there will be a time where we will meet again and we will enjoy together. But looks like you all must be get going, so we will be on our way. Fare thee well, travelers. And he waves.
Goro goes shake his hand and under the front wagon.
He shakes your hand and he squeezes it with a strong shake. And nods his head at you in obvious respect. And turns and whistles to his men. And his men, they kind of give you the same looks that you're accustomed to getting from the townspeople that you experience, but at their leader's direction. They nod their heads and lead the horses pulling the wagon with the barrels of drink in it on towards the road and back on towards the road, back up towards Nevermore.
Did the one lady guard kind of wink at Gror? He thinks he saw that.
That would
You're not having much luck with the ladies these days.
Kind of hot looking one, you know?
Yeah, Corporal Levine. She was not. She was not with you all, or she was not with him. But that is a good question, and we shall see. We shall see. But she was not with them, unfortunately. So. But Gror is brown and determined to find himself a wife that he can give a sandwich to and will accept it and not ambush him. So
that much we've learned at least.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try not to mug him while he's making googly eyes.
Or more.
Gror will remember Corporal Levine for our next visit as well.
Yeah.
Kimber will finally get back to the lead wagon with the rest of them. He's been running around checking on all the people that suffered maybe minor burns or inhalation and stuff like that from trying to put out the fires the night before, and he's probably been doing that this whole time, and finally joins them back at the front.
Good. Yeah, that's wonderful, and you do find some people that you need to minister to, and you've found that, you know, the word has gotten around that you are now Bandura and that Mother has made the decree. And everyone from you know, those who may even be your parents to even the other Bonduran, all the way down to the Yunstas, all seem to treat you with a much higher level of respect and deference and appreciation for who you are and what you've done for them, and it's a different feeling. It's a feeling of pride. But it's not a feeling of lording it over them either. You take this very seriously, as you've seen others before you take it as well. So you feel good about that. All right. So Kenna has gone, Gror has gone, Kimber has gone. Theros, what are you doing as you're packing up and putting the wagons together and getting ready to head on down the road?
I'll join them in the front wagon.
Okay. All right. So you pop up in there. There is a concern that you're not sharing with the others and you're keeping very well hidden, but you are quite scared. Inside, there is this nagging pit in your stomach that something awful may have happened to your parents, and you constantly are looking over your shoulder as you begin to travel down the road, looking to see them coming up the road quickly behind you and gathering back up with the wagons and are disappointed each time you turn around and you do not see what you wish to see. All right, Fleegan, we'll go with you. What is your state at this time?
Well, I'm assuming I have to help pack up, wagon D Fleegan, and
it's actually
after
already
that-
packed up. It's already packed up, but what are you doing after that? Yeah, it's pretty much just getting on the wagons and going. Yep.
Yeah. I gotta ride. I gotta drive the wagon. So I'll try to stick as close as to Vessie's wagon as possible.
Yeah. In fact, after she was kind of ribbing you before and all, she she has taken an eye to your bear, and she kind of likes it. You every time you kind of put it down, before you know it, you notice that it's just hanging off your belt again. And Vezi will kind of take it and play with it a little bit, and kind of snuggle it and stuff, and you'll walk away, and you'll notice it back on your belt, and she'll kind of come over, and she'll be like, why do you keep taking the bear away from me? He's so cute.
I don't take this bear. He just shows up. I think he's like chasing me or stalking me or something.
Bear.
Would
He's
you
so soft,
like
though.
the bear?
Well, it doesn't seem that he wants to be with me. Maybe he wants to be with you. I don't know. So, and she grabs it and she runs off, and she gets about 100 yards away, and you find the bear back in your hands, and she turns around and she gives you a smile and giggles and jumps up in her wagon.
And he takes a look at the bear and points a finger at it and says, "You're gonna be trouble."
You think you see a glint in the eyes when you say that. And so you all take turns driving and keeping watch for bandits and vile creatures and hazards on the road, looking for forage, looking for water sources, and a good pasture for the animals.
Does Fleegan have a special tiny wagon that he drives? Because I'm kind of confused.
Well, he was saying Wagon Day Fleegan. I mean, there's stuff that he has available to him, but no, not really.
Is our pony pulling the wagon or walking alongside it?
I was going to say,
I
the
missed the
pony's
pony.
pulling Wagon de Fliegen.
Yeah.
That may work. So as you guys begin to travel,
The pony, I think I thought of a name for the pony too, guys.
what's that?
I think it should be Snickerdoodle.
It's not a bad name. So we have Hoser and Billy and Snickerdoodle, huh? I like Killer, but Hoser's pretty good too.
I'm
I'm
a fan
going
of
with-
Killer myself, so
I think
I'm going to keep Killer.
until
He's
it
my
kills
dog.
something, I'm gonna call it Hoser. But when it kills something,
Did we ever name that other horse?
Yeah, Snickerdoodle.
Snickerdoodle, the pony.
Oh, the
At least
pony.
you didn't name it Bill. Bill.
But then we would have had Bill and Billy.
Well,
I think it was a
you know,
girl horse.
Bill from the Hobbits named their pony Bill.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
it is a girl horse too. So that I did note that. So.
And she's pretty. And I think she's mine.
I think all the animals like you in some form or another, although Killer, because it's more
Hoser,
Theros' dog. Yeah, Hoser, eh? I think Killer likes Theros. He really does. And he'll
I almost
definitely...
had a mouse.
Oh, I forgot to tell you when they were... you did almost have a mouse, and you thought maybe a snake there for a minute. Killer tried to get a little bit more of a usage of one of the legs of the guards again when they stopped by. But Theros, you kind of saw him getting ready to maybe do his thing and kind of dragged him away a bit.
See, I'm telling you, Hoser, for sure.
Yeah.
I
But,
think Roar needs an animal that can hide in his beard, though, and pop its head out every once in a while.
Are we sure there isn't one in there? Do we honestly know?
Oh, what happened to the one
No,
in the
probably
tree?
not.
I think it should be in your
Does-
beard.
Does Gror know if he has any in his beard?
Don't ask him, whatever you do.
Okay.
Something in the beard. Gotta have a good beard as a dwarf, right? So you guys begin to travel. And as you're starting to travel down the road, Vezi actually crawls up in the lead cart with you all. And she's sitting there, and Vesh is there with you. And she keeps looking up at the red star in the sky. she seems quite concerned about it. What do you guys do?
Is there something special about that star, Vezi?
She doesn't respond immediately. And after a little bit, she looks over at you. And she says, "What? What did you say?"
You keep looking at the red star.
And Vestia, she overhears you talking to her about that. And she very gently kind of pats Vezi on the head. And she says to you, Fligan, she says, "You know, probably should tell you that I've heard the sages have named this thing Zeragast. And unfortunately is the most evil of portents. And even Mother does not wish to speak of it, though we have asked her about it more than once since it came forth today. And I am hoping we can learn more of when we get to Prondadol. Some say it heralds the end of days and the emergence of the abomination of the Hanatah's people. And even the abomination being a male who has been given the sight. This thing that I'm speaking of is called the Mugda in our speech. And when he comes, it is said that with him comes the doom of the world. And that, my friends, is where we will end this evening.
Wow.
Doesn't Fleegan have some special sight?
Both him and Kenna have seen things and heard things throughout this whole time.
They said a male with the sight.
Yeah.
I think Fleegan's a male.
Pretty sure.
Kenna's definitely not.
Have you checked?
I don't know. People keep calling me brother.
I checked and it was inconclusive, but I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah. Quimber was hoping to get a sight of that shadowy person during the day, but, you know, wonder if they're still following us.
And something that you may or may not remember, but I'll point out to you because it's well known among the Hanatahs, is that there has never been a male with the sight. There's never been a male seeress of the Hanatahs people that you know of.
Except Fleegan.
Yep.
So.
I just see things and I talk weird. What else is new?
Can you see inside the Dancers trailer?
Not sure what that's what the site does. I think the site's more for prophecy.
Yeah.
It does. Gror's really jealous. Really jealous.
Gror, it's for prophecy, not profit.
He's not. He was not bit by a radioactive spider. He does not have special powers. So, X-ray vision. Well, my friends, that is it for tonight's session. For those who popped in to take a listen with us tonight, we thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed it. We definitely hope that your minds have been opened by wonder. And I ask you all, lots of story tonight. Tonight was a story night. Did you all have fun?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
I think we should pop in a little Kickstarter here at the end, commercial.
We can do that in a moment, but one thing that I do want to say is you all have rested. You've gotten a long rest. But on top of that, my friends, much has happened in the last couple of days. Much has been accomplished. You are now Bonduran. You are no longer Frenta. You have learned much. You have honed your skills. You have sharpened your blades. And you have gained a level.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Doot, 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 doot.
So come next session,
Legion version 2.0.
you will all advance to version 2.0. So,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
ding! Congratulations, my friends. You survived that first level, and a long one it was, but I hope that it was well worth it.
Yes.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Okay. Yeah.
And so with that, we'll talk more about the logistics of that once we let our viewers go. But I will say this, my friends, for those who watch this within the next coming days, starting on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, November 10th, Gooey Cube will be launching a Kickstarter. We are very excited. We'll go ahead and put up a link in the chat if somebody can real quick of the preview of the Kickstarter, where you can click on the notification link, which will tell you when the Kickstarter has gone live. The reason you would want to do that is two reasons. One is for you and one is for us. For you, you would click the notify me because within the first 48 hours, the items that are offered for the Kickstarter are going to be given at a significant discount that you will never be able to find anywhere else. And so if there's something that you're looking at in the Gooey Cube that you would like to have, all of the material and much, much more coming is going to be available in the Kickstarter at a significant discount. And so it will be good for you within the first 48 hours to get on it quickly. And if you click the notify me button, then you will be notified as soon as it goes live, and you can get in without missing it. Also, what it does is it helps us. The more notifications that have been subscribed to, the better that we will appear in the Kickstarter system. And so therefore, Gooey Cube will show up on more people's feeds and social media and other places as something that they promote internally within Kickstarter, and it helps give more vision to it. So if you have enjoyed what we've been playing and you want the opportunity to see Gooey Cube continue to grow and expand and be here for the long term and provide much more sticky products, then please consider clicking on notification. Costs you nothing. And then if you're interested when the Kickstarter lives in backing us, you are more than welcome to. So thank you very much for that. And we hope, my friends, that all of your adventures be sticky. And we'll see you next time. Ha-ha!
Yay.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.